Welcome to the milk bar. 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 Welcome to the milk bar.
Welcome along to episode 670 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show this week, we'll be having a natter with Bob Lawrence all about his brand new single, the first one to be released digitally. As we are continuing to be surprised by his musical prowess, we'll be having a natter with Elise Evans from Anthem Voices. We are never surprised at their amazing talent, and they are performing at the Dagenham Theatre in June, so we'll be hearing from them. Also at the Dagenham, the gang from Starstruck will be along. We'll be hearing about their latest production, which is made in Dagenham. On top of that, we're hearing from IBM, how they're helping AI development through training in schools. That's all on the way on the show this week. Anthem Voices always put on an absolutely amazing show. The 11th of June is the date for the next one. And Elise Evans is here to tell me more. Hello.
Hiya.
How's it going?
Good to be here. Yeah, going really well, thank you. A bit bleary-eyed, you know, lots of rehearsals going on at the minute, but we're all good, thank you.
Well, let's say you guys love getting together and having a good sing-song. I was lucky enough to come along and visit you a few years ago. It must be 4 or 5 years ago now when I actually came down and saw you rehearsing. And the choir just goes from strength to strength.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a weird 2 years, as it has been for everybody. So the thought of actually being able now to get back together and to be rehearsing in person again and to be able to sort of kind of get back to some sort of normality, ready for showtime, it's a nice feeling, I've got to say.
Well, give us the background to the whole Anthem experience.
So yeah, so it was a choir that we started back in 2016. It started as a youth choir. It naturally progressed into sort of an adult choir as well, and various other branches. We do music workshops in schools, we do online workshops, we do private tuition. But the Anthem Voices choir, which is now the flagship choir, hosts about 60 members. And every year we like to get on stage and do a big summer concert. And it's sort of a showcase of all the work that we've been doing sort of throughout the past year. Well, actually, some of the songs you're going to hear in this concert have actually been in the works now for over 2 years, because they're songs that we've started in January 2019, obviously preparing for our show of the summer, and then as everybody knows what happened next, we all got shut down. So actually this concert is quite special because this is going to have work in it that's been accumulated over 2.5 years, which is quite amazing, really.
But it's not a 93-hour show. It's still something you can cope with.
It's nice and short, I promise. It's not too long, but yeah, it feels like it's been a long time coming, this show. I'm really excited for it.
I mean, you love everything from musical theatre through some sort of amazing pop and rock, and I think you help drive that. And but you're a little community group as well, because you all get together and talk about what you want to do, and it's very much a democracy, unlike some choirs that exist in this world.
It's definitely a community, and that's the word for it. We are a community choir. We don't boast to be anything more. We're not professionals. This is an amateur choir, but amateur, I think, gets a bit of a bad tarnished word recently. I feel like it's people that love to sing, that are coming together to have the best fun, to sing, to learn to sing in harmony, to sing some brilliant songs, but also, more importantly, to be together. And actually what we missed most over COVID, although we could get together on Zoom, was that in-person social aspect, you know. So it's very much a social aspect as it is, the singing aspect as well.
Yeah, so much so it's so relaxed. Last time I came to visit you, you were wearing your slippers.
I actually was, no fear. I am now, Jason, I'd show you, but obviously you can only see me top half.
So with the music you got planned, give us some of the highlights of the tracks that people can come along and really enjoy, put together by literally loads is a good phrase, isn't it? Loads of voices.
Yeah, I mean, so we don't like to mess about. We've got everything from Elvis Presley to Dolly Parton to some of the more modern musicals like Come From Away. We've got some Greatest Showman in there. We've also got a few surprises, because we don't just do sort of big ensemble choir numbers. We have some of our talented members get up on stage, and there's some solos, there's duets, there's some trios, there's even some dancing this year. We've got some showgirls coming on stage. So it's a real spectacle, and I'm not just saying that. The guys have worked really, really hard to put on a great performance. So yeah, there's something for everyone.
You're going to be really busy if you're being both a showgirl and conducting.
Well, I'm not. You'll be surprised to know, Jace, I am not a showgirl. I think my showgirl days are far behind me. So I just get to stand at the front and wave my arms and do all that.
So it's a great space, great to get together. And obviously, joining now would not allow you into the show in June, most likely.
Sadly not, no.
But because you want to rehearse, and you guys are big on getting it absolutely spot on, and I know that. So there is still the opportunity to join, though. If somebody did want to come along and be part of it, give us the details, first of all, on how they do that bit.
Absolutely. I mean, we're so fortunate now. We're always inundated with people wanting to join Anthem, and we love that. However, we do have limited spaces. We don't sort of like to spill over numbers too much, just because we like to keep that community feel, and we also want to make sure that we're not packing the church hall where we rehearse every Thursday night. However, when spaces become available, we always post it first on our social media. So if anybody is interested to sort of keep an eye on when spaces become available, we offer a free trial session for everybody that comes along for their first time as well. You can just follow us on Anthem Voices, and that's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It'll always be posted there first, and all the details will be there for you. And
because your home is in Wensfield.
Of course. Well, no, we've moved, Jay. Sorry. I know. So everything's changed. So we were in Wensfield. We're now in Aldersley. So we're not too far.
No, so that's okay. Aldersley's cool as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lovely church hall. We're very lucky we found it. Obviously, COVID threw a lot of spanners in the works, and one of them was that we had to lose our wonderful venue, which was very sad because we loved Wensfield, of course, and we actually started in Wensfield at the high school, so it was quite sad, really, to move away from that area. But we are still in Wolverhampton. We are still Wolverhampton-based.
That's the way we like it. So, all the details for the show, 11th of June, please. Take it away now.
Dormston Mill Theatre, Saturday the 11th of June. It's called Let Me Entertain You. 2 shows, 2:30 and 7:30. There's a bar available at both events, which I know is quite a pull for people. It's going to be a great day of shows. Please come along and see us. Tickets are £12 for adults. Under 7s are £7. You can get your tickets at ct.co.uk/Let Me Entertain You.
Yeah, and as you said, it's an amateur show, but it's not an amateurish show. Basically, you guys are performers of the highest caliber who just aren't getting paid to turn up, which is how you keep the ticket prices at 12 quid.
It's like you're going to see a professional show for a cheap ticket price. I mean, it's a bargain. It's an absolute bargain. I can't say any more than that.
No, and I can't recommend you highly enough because you are absolutely awesome, led by the amazing Elise. It's always going to be good when Elise is involved. You know that. So keep it going. Check it out. Anthem Voices on Facebook to find out all the details. And the gig at Dormston Mill is going to be like, in fact, probably book yourself tickets for both. Go at lunchtime, realise the matinee was absolutely awesome and you want to see it again on the night. Yeah. I think that works, doesn't it?
Yes, do it. You can grab a curry in Sedgley, go for a Wetherspoons, and then come down and see us again for the evening.
What more could you ask for? It sounds like a perfect Saturday.
It is.
Elise, thank you for joining us.
No worries. Thank you, Jason.
Stumble through your days, got your head hung low, your sky's a shade of grey, like a zombie in a maze. You're asleep inside.
When Bob Lawrence announced he was releasing an album, and I, like many, was somewhat surprised. We maybe expected a TV quiz show or something, but no, here he is singing. Now, we had a natter about the album a little while ago, which is only available in physical form, but there is a single coming out. It's all to do with where he's popped his hat, and he's here now to tell me all about it. Hello, sir.
Nobody was more surprised than me, Jace.
Well, I suppose there is that, but now come on. I've known you, and the Midlands has known you for decades, literally decades, and so it was a shock when the singing started, but you've had such fun with it, and the whole industry that you know absolutely loves you anyway, and they love you more for this.
You're so optimistic. The industry, as exactly as you said, just looked at me and went, "You're what? You are what? You can't be serious." Now, as I said to you before, I just think there is creativity in all of us, absolutely everyone, and being on the radio, writing a book, making a record, all of these things, I think everyone's got this, painting a picture, making a sculpture. But the sad thing is what happens with all of us is we're born with this creativity. And, if you think back to your primary school days, Jace, you're encouraged to get a crayon. That's good, Jason. Yes. Oh, good. And then there comes a point, probably early secondary school, where you're told, yeah, that's not very good, Jason. You see, you've gone outside of the lines here. And why have you painted a blue horse? And so what we do is we kind of go, oh, that's not for me. Do you know what I mean? And so we lose it all. And I just think we should all do stuff like this. We should all just let our inner story out, let our inner painting out, whatever it is, and it's a lot of fun, and that's what the record's about as well. It's just a fun record. It's the only song on the album, because on the album, for those that don't know, it's basically, this sounds so pompous, but it's my poetry, if you like. It's my lyrics. And a really talented fella called Dan Chisholm did all the music and the production of it. So it's just my words. But Got My Hat On is the only song on the album where I actually came up with the melody as well. Yeah, but, it was just a case of me going, yeah, it kind of goes a bit like, na 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 na. And he went, what, you mean like an A-flat minor Morris? I don't know. It kind of goes, da 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 da. And then he transposed it all into music. So.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to, at this point, I'm going to point out he doesn't go, na 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 na, because you did it. It is good stuff. We'll play the full song in a moment, but this is where we're at.
Thinking of the girl I met last June. She looks great in her Levi's wrapped tight around her.
Anyway, we'll leave that bit there and bring you the full entirety of that and see what the Levi's are wrapped around later. But it is a fun piece of work, and that's what I like about it as well. So the whole bit of creativity you've got going on here, the whole album has been an interesting experience. Now, have you done a video for this one yet?
No. It's I'll be honest with you. Everything about making music was a steep learning curve for me, and that includes the video, because video is give me audio and I'm at home. I know where I am with audio.
You're Picasso with audio. That's how it works.
Well, I don't know. I'm certainly not comfortable, that's for sure. So, the video for the last single, We Were There, was just exhausting, and it really exhausted me. So with this one, we've just decided not to have a video. Yeah, because we're being different, man.
Well, when next time I'm expecting stop-motion claymation, that sort of thing. That'd be good.
Yeah. I mean, all of this stuff, it's all self-funded. There's no record company involved. There's no publishing company involved, so everything has been funded by me, and like everybody, times are tough, and you've just got to compromise your ideals, and with this one, we just decided, let's see what happens without a video. We'll see.
We're letting the music speak for itself.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah.
So what else is going on in your world at the moment? Because it's never a quiet place to be, is it?
It's really it. Do you know? I was listening to a chat I had with a friend of mine. I know this sounds weird, but I was having a chat with a friend of mine probably 16, 17 years ago, and I recorded the chat. And I was listening to that chat recently, and something jumped out at me when I said to him, I said, you know, you've spent all your life going all over the world. You got wanderlust. And he said, no. He said, it's not wanderlust. It's just opportunities arise and I go with them. And that really jumped out at me because that's pretty much what I've been doing over the last couple of years. You know, making music was never on my radar. It was deep down, it was something that I'd wanted to do, but because I wasn't musical, it would never happen. So you just put it to one side. And then the opportunity came up when Dan said, let's record one of your poems, and it was an opportunity, and then it's just grown from there. So I guess as I get to these advancing years, I kind of realize. I tell you what it is. What happened was, it's not a nice topic, but you know, when you start getting to a situation where you go to the GP and you get the bad news, then everybody says, "Oh, I got my bucket list." You know, and well, why wait until you get diagnosed with something horrible? So I kind of, in a weird sort of way, I've got my bucket list now, and I'll get it all done whilst I'm still physically and mentally able to enjoy what I'm doing. So I don't know is the simple answer. I don't, you know, and if your next question is what's next, I have to say again, I don't know. It's
I don't think we can possibly know what's next. I know it's not worth asking that, because if we'd have spoken 3 years ago and I said, so Bob, when's the next album coming out? And you're going to, oh, what, the debut? Yeah. And then no, it's just not going to happen. So you just, it is purely a wonderful world of randomness that you seem to be living in. And I like that. I envy you. And I mean, this bucket, how big is it? Are we talking a small pail? Are we talking something the size of the front room?
I think it's like what you do. You know, this whole thing is only possible because of the internet, because of technology. And technology has moved on so fast. It's moved on so fast that we haven't actually fully appreciated how far we've come. But, you know, us chatting here, when you actually stop and think, how is this happening? It's happening through telephone lines, pretty much. Mm-hmm. But I can see you and you can see me and we can hear each other. And it's like, wow. And, you know, making music, writing a book, all of this stuff is available to everybody now because technology has enabled us to do it.
Yeah, so if you look back, because I mean, when I first got to know you, this was at Beacon, and the late 80s, you were presenting a show, I was co-hosting a kids show, and to get the quality of sound alone that we're getting now would have involved a rather large bit of copper wire being dragged halfway across the country, and it has just changed everything.
Yeah, and it has changed everything, and it gives us opportunity. And I think that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that, you know, we all, you know, Netflix and email and Zoom calls, we all do all this stuff, and we've got to the stage where we don't give it a second thought, and all of that is fine and dandy. Banks are closed. You know, when we were kids, the idea of there not being a bank. Mm-hmm. You know, is Barclays still open in Wolverhampton, by the way? That beautiful building.
Yes, Barclays is. And the city centre's not too bad. But we've even got the new TSB after they demerged from Lloyd's. But they used to try and drag you into the banks by giving you a rucksack, a dictionary, or a ceramic piggy bank. Now they want to give you an app so you can watch things at home.
Well, that's right. So all of this has happened and is happening. But as I say, the other side of that coin is it gives us opportunity. And you're quite right. You know, the days when we were at Beacon, to get any decent sound quality involved a lot of expensive machinery. And we don't need that expensive machinery any longer. And so long as you know what you're doing, you can create the most wonderful things. I mean, I was looking at a friend of mine who has an Instagram account, and all she does on Instagram is paints pictures. Using her finger to, splodge colour across and whatever. That's all she does. She doesn't do the, this is what I had for my dinner and all of that stuff. She creates little works of art and publishes them on Instagram. Well, not so long ago, for her to do that, she would have to physically create with paint, and then she would have to physically reproduce that and then get a book made and then advertise the book, put it in a jiffy bag. Now, it's all done. And I think it's wonderful. That aspect of 21st century living is wonderful. And it's given me the opportunity to get stuff off my chest. The book, the album. Even radio, radio has evolved now, and there are all sorts of branches of radio. And what you're doing is, has its roots in radio. It's and the idea that anyone can just get their thoughts out, can be creative, I think is wonderful.
Yeah, it is. And the days of pirate radio, as was, have kind of gone, because you don't need a transmitter now. We're looking at the fact that I'm sharing this on my podcast. It goes out on 101.8 WCR-FM, and we got a number of different outlets for things, and the outlets all come together, which is good as well. You see that with what the BBC do with their apps and things, and the way they've embraced it, and the fact that there's people actually serving communities the way we can in Wolverhampton. And talking from Wolverhampton, and we can go global with all of this, is really just an amazing experience. And that's happening with your music. And I'm sure there are many more Bob Lawrence fans out there than you ever thought there could be.
Well, I don't know about that, but it just means that I can get it out there. And that's and again, as I've said to you before, the thing I love about WCR is that it's Wolverhampton. And without meaning to get quasi-political here, one of the things that I've seen happen over the decades is this erosion of Wolverhampton. The irony is Wolverhampton is now a city. When I was there, it was a town. Now it's a city. And yet, if you look at a lot of media, it's lumped in with Birmingham. Yeah. Birmingham and Wolverhampton, and I think it's great that WCR is proudly and consistently for many years saying, no, we're Wolverhampton. Hence the name, Wolverhampton. That's what we are. Yeah. And, the internet and technology, I mean, yes, WCR is on FM, which is great. But if you look under the bonnet of WCR, it's all down to technology. It's down to the advancements in technology, which means that can happen and this can happen. And, as I say, the days of having to have huge physical buildings to put a radio station in are over. And, I think it's great. And, it's... But it makes me sound a little bit kind of as if I'm a geek, and I'm really not a geek. But the technology has just meant that getting this back to the record, got my hat on, it just means that I can make a fun record and get it out to people and just say, look, here's a fun record. And if you listen to the words of Got My Hat On, it's clearly a little look at country music and the kind of topics that country music make, and then suddenly it goes off on this massive divert towards the end. And it's certainly not what you'd hear in your average country song. But
we will listen to it now and see how we feel about the whole experience. So we can find you. This one's available digitally, isn't it? So this is like on Spotify and Apple Music
everywhere.
And all that sort of stuff, everywhere. The whole album, how do we get hold of that? Because that's physical.
The album is just CD, and that's only available from my website. Very easy to remember. It's my name followed by .co.uk, boblawrence.co.uk. You can get the CD album. The single, Got My Hat On, is on all digital platforms. Yes, it's on Spotify, but, from my point of view, it's better if you download it rather than just listen to it for free. And I know that makes me sound so mercenary, but,
we've got to live. We've got to pay for stuff.
Well, it's true. And, I won't get, we could talk for hours about the way that you are financially recompensed from places like Spotify. But basically, it's something like 100,000 listens on Spotify would earn me the same as I would get if I had something like 100 downloads from Amazon or whatever. It's really ridiculous. So, by all means, go to Spotify, have a listen, and then fork out 99p and buy it. Yeah.
That's the way we like it. Bob, always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to the next wild, wacky and weird project, whatever that may be. I'll talk to you about it then.
All the best, Jay.
Are you ready, Bob?
Yes, thanks, Andy.
Andy? When the morning comes creeping, I'm lying here not sleeping. I'm thinking of the girl I met last June. She looks great in her Levi's, wrapped tight around her thighs. Makes me so I don't know what I'm doing. If I sleep, I'll feel better, but I'm not sure I wanna forget her, 'cause she's the only one to make me say, I got my hat on, my boots on, my belt on, now I'm gone, I'm going into town to look for you, 'cause you're the one that I think of whenever I'm off. I'm so in love with you, Betty Lou. I ain't having no fun, might open a cold one and drink it down real fast at quite a pace. Then topped up with barley, might hop on my Harley and think about my woman's lovely face. I got my hat on, my boots on, my belt on, now I'm gone, I'm going into town to look for you, 'cause you're the one that I think of whenever I'm off. I'm so in love with you, Betty Lou. I'm in a bar full of cowboys, all making a big noise. I'm looking, but I can't see her in here. In fact, I can't see no women. It's just jam-packed full of big men in Stetsons and boots and drinking beer. A tall one came over and tapped me on the shoulder. Said, hey, I ain't seen you in here before. He had black hair and stubble, and I knew I was in trouble as I followed him out and through the door. I got my hat on, my boots on, my belt on, now I'm gone. I came here into town to look for you. You're still the one that I think of whenever I drift off. I'm still in love with you, Betty Lou. I'm not spending time thinking about any women. When I'm in Rome, I'll do what the Romans do. Come here, baby.
The wonderful team from Starstruck Theatre are in action at the Dormston Mill Theatre from the 25th through to the 28th of May. It is made in Dagenham. There's bound to be some protesting, but that's only on stage, not outside. I'm joined now by some of the gang to tell me more. Hello, everyone. Hello. So, Vicky, I'm going to let you be our guide. Who's doing and what's happening down there?
Okay, well, we've got a nice selection here for you today. I'm Vicky, by the way. I play Rita O'Grady.
And I'm Sally, I play Connie.
I'm Laura, I play Sandra.
I'm Stacey, I play Cass.
I'm Gary, I play Monty.
I'm Andrew, I play Harold Wilson.
I'm Ben, I play Eddie O'Grady.
I'm Nick, I play Cortina Man.
And I'm Keith, and I play Mr. Tooley.
Now, this is an amazing show and an important part of social history, as well as being a brilliant musical.
Especially for us women, yeah.
It's very relevant.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it, actually. It's nice to do something that represents women in a really positive light and gives us them strong, feminine, strong female roles to get our teeth into as well.
Yeah, and even though we know we have inequality still to this day, this actually shows just how bad it was and how far we've come, but it's obviously still not quite right yet.
Yeah. And it wasn't like that long ago, really, which I think a lot of people will be surprised to go, oh, wow, like, I don't think people know about everything that happened. And I think as much as it being a great musical, I think people actually go, wow, that was actually really interesting. And, you know, I've heard of this person and this person. And it's a really good one. I think everyone's really going to enjoy it from all
Absolutely.
ages.
Yeah, and having seen the film and the stage play, I mean, it's such a powerful message, but all done in this case with some brilliant music. So tell us a bit about the songs.
Well, there's some really, really good songs in there, and I think as far as musicals go, the music I think it's got us all really excited in rehearsals. We can tell like everyone's putting everything into the singing. Anybody want to talk about their favourite songs? Ben? Oh, Ben's got a great solo song.
Yeah, I sing a song called "The Letter," which is basically a letter from Eddie to his wife Rita, saying he's basically had enough of going and trying to change the world, and she should come home and be a wife and mother. Yeah, I mean, it sounds more, that makes it sound more misogynistic than it actually is, but it's a real
sees it from everyone's side.
It's basically his kind of breaking point in the relationship.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's some real emotion to it as well. But a lot of it's like 80% music. The whole thing's almost song. A lot of the stories told through the songs rather than lots and lots of dialogue. And then songs. It's more interwoven right the way through the show, which is really cool. It's almost like a jukebox.
Yeah, and it's very kind of get up in 60s sorts of music as well. So it's really powerful.
Yeah, I mean, we are back in the 60s, which means although it has a look, some of the clothes are easy to source, another bit's a bit more difficult, but there's some amazing dresses in there as well, aren't there?
Yeah,
Laura, do you want to take this one?
So I'm actually, as well as being the cast, the costumier and the wardrobe mistress. So I've got the lovely job of costuming everybody,
which is really easy when you deal with.
Yeah, I mean, they're all really relaxed about it. Yeah, so it's quite fun doing like the Ford uniforms and as well as like lots of really fun sticks, especially for the men, because I feel like especially the young guys, they wouldn't have ever seen a collar that long. Or like those tight trousers, so that's going to be a really fun when we bring all the costumes down. So so that's to look forward to.
I'm looking forward to it.
And you've had a great day out actually seeing some of the Ford cars that would have been around at the time.
Oh yeah, well we had one come, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a great little photo shoot with a beautiful Cortina. That was really fun, to be fair. And I think even though like we've all kind of known each other for this short amount of time, he brought out our characters that did on the photo shoot. It's really fun.
So, I mean, you've got an amazing show, you've got an amazing cast. Starstruck have done some brilliant work so far. And of course, at the Dormston Mill Theatre over in Sedgley, I mean, that's going to be another great place to host all of this. But what is the standout moment for each of you in the show? And Vicky, again, I'll let you coordinate whom and who. Well,
first of all, I'd like to say that there's a lot of people who don't know about this show. And I'd say they were missing out if they passed on it, because it's something I wasn't aware of. I didn't know the show very well when we started, and it's heartwarming, it's funny, it's modern, it's touching. There's a lot of really great moments in there, and I think even if you're not a fan of musical theatre, it's the sort of thing you're going to really, really love. I think for me, my standout part at the moment is basically the finale. I'm hoping that it's going to be a really powerful moment and that it's going to get a really good audience reaction. That's my favourite part to do. How about yourself?
I think mine is my song, and then obviously it's reiterated when Rita, obviously played by Vicky, does it at the end and says all the words that I've said to her, and it actually rings true, and it happens and it works.
So, you are my mentor, aren't you?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you don't last to the end of the show.
No.
How about you, Keith?
I guess Mr. Tooley's song, "This Is America," singing about how great America is compared to Dagenham. Stand out one.
Well, I'm Cortina Man, so I do get a bit of a solo. which I quite enjoy, I think, unless I'm, when I'm
It's
gonna
a
get
beautiful
dressed
moment.
up with a wig. I'm not sure about that. So yeah, I do like that, but I do like coming on when we all come on at the start. All the guys come on for our opening number, Made in Dagenham, which is all the guys, all the Ford workers, and that's pretty good because it's a bit of camaraderie. It's quite a nice, and it's a nice number as well. So it gets the show going off to a good pace.
Lads.
Like that.
Important in a show about female equality.
You get a little moment.
How about you, Monty? What do you like?
I like all the songs. The one at the end is really uplifting. Every time I listen to it on in the car, it always get a little pink in my eye.
It's emotional.
It's quite emotional final song, I think. Really good.
Laura?
I like Everybody Out, which is just before the interval. So it's like a really good one to go into the bar with. But it's when all the factory workers think, forget it, we're not doing it. But everybody's in that number, and it's so long, it's ridiculous. But it's everyone's in it, and I think there's
a lot happens.
It's just so much happens, and it's really exciting. And I think it's got dialogue, it's got music, it's great singing. So I think it's definitely the one I enjoy the most. And then it's the interval. So
but are you allowed ice creams backstage as well, as long as you don't get it down the costumes?
Exactly. Yeah.
You've gone from the bar to ice cream.
I want it all.
How about you, Ben?
To be honest with you, a little bit selfish, but I like the first song. Basically, Eddie's cocked up and he's forgotten his anniversary, and he's made to really, really regret it. And basically, there's a whole number of him apologising for basically being an arse. And I pretty much spend my entire life apologising for being.
It's a good part for you.
Typecasting, that's the way we like it.
Anybody else want to say?
You got a fave?
To be quite honest, I'm just really enjoying all of it. There's so many talented people as well within this group, and they've all made me feel really welcome, and it's a fantastic show.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people who it's our first with Starstruck. It's quite a few new people, so I
think you can just see how much we all enjoy it.
Yeah. There's a lot of passion, and it's great.
Really I'm expecting great things. This is standard with Starstruck because I've been there and seen it before. So.
I know Harold Wilson's desperate to say something.
All I wanted to say was I think it's easy to sell it as a sort of a social and political kind of show, but there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comedy and there's a lot of love and emotion in it, isn't there? Really, a lot of heart in it, and I think it's a bit of a roller coaster ride for people, and they don't realise perhaps how moving it actually is and how funny it is.
Yeah, really fun.
Yeah, well, I know it's an amazingly good show, and say with the amazing cast you're going to have from Starstruck, it'll be well worth a look. Made in Dagenham, take yourself back to Essex in 1968 and tell the story of the Ford car workers who were looking for equal pay and rights, and thoroughly deserved it too. And it made an absolute national, in fact, world impact. So it's all taking place Wednesday through Saturday. It is the 25th through to the 28th of May. It's at the Dunstan Mill Theatre. Tickets are priced £15 and £12 concessions. You can get hold of the box office on 01902 334 874 or ct.co.uk/Dagenham and get yourself along. And it's going to be awesome, isn't it, gang?
Yeah.
They are Starstruck. They're amazing. See you all soon.
Thank you. Cheers.
When it comes to the world of improvisation, whether it be comedy or maybe something a little more dramatic, there's a lot that you maybe need to know and have in your head before you start improvising. Laura Liptrot can advise on that, and she's telling me now all about a fantastic course she's offering. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. You all right?
I'm good, thank you. So what is going on? Because this all starts this Thursday.
Yes, I'm running some improvisation classes in Stourbridge. The address is St Thomas's Church Hall, Market Street, Stourbridge, DY8 1A4. And it's just for people who maybe have never done acting before, or maybe they do acting on a more regular basis but want to have a bit of fun with it. It's just an opportunity to come around, do some silly scenarios, meet some like-minded people, just have a bit of a laugh. something very, very casual. Very
And you
fun.
never know, a new drama group or comedy group could be born out of what happens on these events.
Well, exactly. You don't know what happens when you meet people. You might meet someone who you end up wanting to collaborate with, or somebody who can offer you work. I don't know who's going to come along.
We've spoken to you on a number of different occasions about various different things. I mean, you've been involved in all sorts of stuff, whether it be plays, readings, appearances, books. Well, you've done a lot. So, we've got lots of back catalogue on you. But you've also got your training qualifications as well. And this is what really puts you in a good place to be able to offer these courses.
Yes. Of course, I did drama at uni, and a lot of that did involve improv. And I've been working with drama groups since I was about 6 years old. And I worked with a local drama group, a comedy theatre group, and a lot of that involves improv and devising, and it's just such an important tool for an actor to have, because of course if you're working on stage, if something goes wrong, you need to know that you can get out of it. Working with other actors, you need to trust that they can improv to get you out of it. And there's lots of opportunities out there for improvisation. Events and stuff where you're dressed up in costume, or an historical event or something where it actually requires improvisation skills, and creating stories for your characters and interacting with the public or whatever.
Because I mean, you're whoever or whomever you are creating on stage actually has to have a backstory. So even though you're improvising, you're doing it with a set of instructions in your head in some ways.
Yeah, of course. And one of the exercises I plan to run when people are a little more comfortable with improvisation is hot seating, which is, I give you a character and you're just asked random questions. What's their favourite colour? What's their marital status? What school did they go to? And you just have to think of that totally off the top of your head. It's really interesting because some things you think, okay, I'm going to change that. I didn't really like that. Some things you think, oh, okay, I never thought of that before, but that really works. That explains why the character is the way they are.
So, I mean, you've got to put yourself into that situation and be able to answer with a good flow. And it's that flow of being convincing that is going to make your character believable when it comes down to an improv event that you're part of.
Yeah, definitely. Acting isn't just about what's on the surface. It's about what's going on behind the eyes. I mean, I remember when I was at college doing one of my first film modules, a character realised something, and the other students knew when the character realised something because of the reaction in my eyes. And literally all I was doing was thinking in my head, okay, this has happened, I know this has happened. And that was all I was doing, and it was showing in my eyes, and I can't even explain what it is. It's just because I was doing that, but it was there. And that's the kind of things I really want to teach to other people as well. Realising that it's actually not that difficult once you know how, like a lot of things really.
Yeah, because I mean, when someone is acting, you have to remember that you're not looking at whoever's playing the part, but the person playing the part. And although I'm going to pick on, say, let's go for Sean Connery. Sean Connery in his later years was very much Sean Connery in a lot of things that he played because that's what people wanted. But you look at his earlier works as James Bond, and actually it shows what a fine actor he was before he was then directed into being a recognisable icon.
Yeah, exactly. Me and my friend were having this discussion the other day about Alan Rickman, actually. When you watch him as Snape, using him as an example, you try and picture him, you try and say, okay, this is the Sheriff of Nottingham, and it's just not there. You just can't, you can't link the two things in your head because he's such a good actor. It doesn't comprehend that it's the same man saying different lines. It's two different people. I find that as the mark of a good actor. You watch them, you can't see anyone else they've played because they are just that person in that moment.
Yeah, because I mean, and in part because they're improvising being that person. The lines are one thing, being told about the characters another, but it's how you bring it to life, and that's where improv is such an amazingly important skill.
Exactly, because improv isn't just about acting out loud. It's sort of improvising in your head. Inner monologues, you improvise an inner monologue to make your character more real. You're improvising constantly in your head when you're an actor. It makes a great actor.
So where do we go for more information on how can people sign up to be part of this, and what's the cost?
Okay, so it's £5 a week. So it's you just pay when you turn up. You don't have to come every week if you don't want to, or if you can't. So it's £5 a week. You can find information on my Facebook and Twitter. or you can contact me directly on my email address, which is laura.l.liptrot@gmail.com, all lowercase, or you can call me on 07906 763 475.
Well, a brilliant opportunity for people to be able to get involved with something which is slightly different, that is a sort of acting class which isn't normally taught.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a formal acting class, but it is something you're going to learn from. And I do have plans to possibly devise a script from the improvs. I don't know how far down the line that will be. That depends on what people who come along want to do. But, you know, I have put on shows before, so it can be done again.
We shall see what happens. Well, we'll talk about that when it does happen, no doubt. If there's a show that comes out, this would be great. If there's an improv group or a comedy drama group or whatever that emerges, we will again talk about that. Meanwhile, I look forward to you telling us about your next project. But meanwhile, this is the biggie. All starts this Thursday. So go along, check those details out, and become part of something which could really help you with your acting workshops.
Definitely.
Laura Liptrot, always good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us.
Brilliant. Thank you.
We may ask ourselves what autonomous cars, our smart speaker, and the wonderful world of the metaverse all have in common. Well, without AI, they just wouldn't work. To tell us more about how some of this works, I've got Sharon Moore with me now, and she is Global Tech Lead for Government at IBM Technology. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Lovely to meet you.
Good to talk to you. So explain a bit more about what's going on here, because when it comes to AI, it really is not so much taking over the world in a Skynet kind of a way, but it's taking it over in a positive way.
Yeah, it is. It's really here to help us do things better and make more of what we can do. From a business perspective, it might be about enabling our decision making to make it faster, to make it more effective. It might be about predicting some future. It could be even looking at how we focus employees' time so they're doing valuable things and spending more time on that rather than the easy things that can be done by technology. From a personal perspective, you and me, you know, it's when we want to play some music and want to hear the things that we really like, or be excited by things that we haven't seen before, or we want to find that selfie that we thought was our favorite one, but there's AI there to help us find through the faces. So yeah, lots of positive things about AI that can really help us make a difference.
And although it feels like it's been developing for some time, it's still relatively new on the scale of things as far as even the computing industry goes.
Yeah, it has been around for a while. In theory, it has been possible to do some of this stuff, but it's actually taken a while for technology to catch up in terms of the power that AI needs in terms of computer, the size of machines. So we're really in some ways early in that. In other hands, actually, there's so much potential, things we can already start doing. We've had virtual assistants helping people through COVID. And so there are some really useful examples of AI already right now that, as I say, help us make a difference. The challenge that we have, I think, is through the survey that IBM commissioned that shows that we have a problem with skills. So there's this Addressing the AI Skills Gap in Europe report that we'll be launching. And we have a problem in that area in general across Europe. How do we get the skills to do more with AI so that we can advance even further?
Because I mean, getting a training course into an educational establishment can take time, and getting things onto the syllabus so kids start to learn about them obviously has a period of years very often before it makes its way into mainstream education. So getting something as new as AI and as rapidly developing as AI, particularly when there are a number of different channels in the ways in which each of the big tech names actually deal with it, can be a bit difficult. So is it really down to the employers and those who are looking for staff to do the training and take people who've got a background in, or how else do you think we might be able to get this understanding out there so the jobs that are required can be filled?
There are lots of possibilities, but absolutely there is an onus upon employers to make sure that their current employees and future employees are getting the right kind of skills. I mean, you talked about different organizations needing different things, but actually lots of them need something that's the same across everything. Skills are transferable. One of the initiatives that IBM has is round about Skills Build. We launched that a couple of years ago, and it's open to students, to adults who are looking for entry-level employment. And really, it's about being able to do things like learn about cloud, learn about AI, data analytics, but the softer skills as well, they are hugely important. So one of the points that came out of our report is that 37% of our participants believe that problem solving is the most critical soft skill. So it's not just the hard technical skills, vital that they are, but it is those other things. So we need to understand and build leadership skills, build communication skills, programming, yes, sure, but problem solving and even writing skills, they are still really important in technology.
Yeah, and whatever your background in computing and having an interest there is the important bit to start off with. And we often feel these days that when we use apps, everything is just like presented to us on a plate. And for kids who may think they want a job in computing, they actually want to be a YouTuber who's actually sharing their exploits on Fortnite. There is much more to it than that, and so many rewarding careers as well.
Absolutely. I have to say, I have particularly enjoyed mine. It is not over yet, I would hope, but yet there is so much possibility and so much potential for people to get involved, for children to see positive careers. One thing again that the report highlighted is that I think we as an industry have to do a better job of reaching some of those people that perhaps haven't found technology to be accessible before. So we need to think more about how we provide the education to people from more diverse backgrounds, from whether that is from a social standing perspective, whether that's from ethnic minority backgrounds from a UK perspective. And something like Skills Build can help give technology as a career to people that are wide and varied and different and diverse, because if technology and if AI is going to be more effective, we need to represent everybody and then build everyone into the conversation.
Absolutely. AI has got to be there to help all parts of our community. There can't be anybody left behind.
Absolutely. Agree entirely.
So what sort of age range are you looking at helping to educate here? Because, I mean, that's the starting point, I suppose, is 13 to 18-year-olds as they're heading into their career.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're thinking about students here, but we are thinking, so secondary education. So we are thinking about adults as well. So this could be people who are looking to retrain and reskill as well from a Skills Build perspective.
So where can we go for more information about the work that IBM are doing here?
So nice and easy, ibm.com/UK.
And you can see all the opportunities which are starting to come together, and maybe something there that will inspire you to get yourself into the world of AI.
Absolutely. Have a look, see some of the fantastic outcomes that have resulted from technology that are resulting from AI already.
Well, Global Tech Lead for Government at IBM Technology, Sharon Moore, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, Jason.
That's a lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 671 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.